Alright, so I'm going to teach you how to start getting waves. Hopefully you can see how it translates onto the camera. So also, sorry that I'm a little sweaty, just finished my abs workout. But let's get started with what you're going to need. So you're going to need brushes, a mirror, a durag, and a low haircut. Sorry if the brushes look kind of dirty. I've been lazy and haven't washed them in a while now, so after I record this, I'll make sure that I go and get them washed. So essentially the process of waves, or let me try and explain what waves are. Essentially, waves are just the curls of your hair being brushed in a particular direction. So what you may see, when you may see people with waves, you may see them in two common patterns, what you call a beehive or a swirl, and that's if they're doing a 360, which means their entire head has waves. But me, for example, I have 180 waves, so it's only the top of my head. I used to have 360 when I started, but when I took a break from waves and came back, I just decided to stick with 180. So yeah, so the brushing now is really simple. All you do is brush in the direction you want to brush your hairs. So for example, the top of my head now, I'm just brushing it straight. So I'm brushing it straight, and then I brush, of course, the angles of the top as well. So my head is shaped like that in this direction, so I angle the brush to brush that direction. But the same motion would still apply. I'm just brushing from the top of my head to the front to my hairline. So yeah, you can really see the sweat started to show up now. So that's really just there is to actually getting it. You just keep on brushing, 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 brushing. So what may be efficient for you would be to brush in timed sessions. So get your phone or something and time yourself for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, and just one dedicated session per day will be enough to see your results in maybe a month. In a month for sure you'll be able to get the results if you brush in one dedicated session per day. But if it's possible for you, I would really recommend to just brush whenever you can. You don't have to count it or anything. Just if you can walk with your brush, if you're going to school for example, and just get a quick 5 minutes or so, just keep brushing, brushing, brushing. That's really all there is to it to get in the actual waves. Now you may hear or may hear the discussion about using pomade. Personally, I don't use pomade anymore because I would like to use as little products as possible. But I used to use pomade when I just started. Really and truly, it doesn't boost the results. It's really just to try and make the waves look as best as possible. So yeah, the next thing now is I wanted to talk about to you is the hair type. So there may be this conception that for black people it's a lot easier for them to get waves, which is true because their hair is naturally curlier. So for anybody who has straighter hair, it is not impossible for you to get waves. I just want to tell you that from now. It's not impossible. You just need to put in more work than somebody else who has curlier hair type. So it doesn't matter what hair type you have, the same principle still applies. You just brush, 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 brush. Just keep on brushing. That's literally all there is to it. And for the mirror, a wall mirror works as well if it's in your bathroom or something. But in the case that you don't have a mirror, just get a hand mirror. It's not that expensive, especially for me coming from Jamaica. Hand mirrors, they're around 500 Jamaican dollars, which I know for sure is less than $5 US. So get yourself a hand mirror. It's going to definitely help when you need to get certain angles, especially if you're doing 360 waves. You're going to need a hand mirror to see behind you and everything when trying to get that certain angle. And lastly now, the do-rag. So you use a do-rag basically whenever you're going to go to bed, or whenever you're going to get in a situation where your head is going to be against another surface that's going to probably cause the waves to get messed up. So you need a do-rag. And it doesn't matter how low your hair is at. Well, to me, it doesn't matter how low your hair is at. I would prefer if you would start to get in the practice of tying the do-rag each night from as early as possible. because one of the worst things that can happen is that you feel a little lazy, feel you lose discipline, you go to bed without the do-rag, and then you wake up and you wonder why your hair looks like that, why your hair looks so bad. So quickly I'll just demonstrate how to put on a do-rag. Of course, there's also a lot of surplus of wave YouTubers you can find online. I grew up on 360 GZ and 360 Wave Process, so those are really the two big wave names to me. I also remember Justin Time, I think that's what his name was, Justin Time. He had 720 waves, which is it's basically another pattern. So he just brushes his waves at an angle, so yeah, it's just known as 720. So you try, I forgot I'm supposed to explain how to actually tie the do-rag, sorry about that. So you take one of the straps, you try and keep it as open as possible. So you want it to be as wide open as possible when you're tying it. And also note that I have the seam of the do-rag facing outwards. That's what you want, because if you have it facing inwards, it's going to leave a mark on your head, and you don't want that. I remember when I was just starting out and I did that overnight, and I'm going to school and people keep on asking me, "Yo, Robert, why is that big line in your head, in the middle of your head?" It was very embarrassing. So yeah, you definitely want to make sure you have that seam turned outwards. So then you just replicate that with the other band, with the other strap, I should say. And then you just tie the two ends. It doesn't really matter how you tie it. I normally just do a little double knot, and then that's enough for me. You want to make sure you don't tie it too tight as well. That's why you open up the straps as much as possible, because if they're too compact, they're going to leave a mark on your forehead, and that looks almost as bad, if not worse, than when you have the line. So that's all there is to it. So I hope that you guys found value. I hope that you found value in this video. So hopefully I'll be back with more content for you to get more value from next Sunday. So that's it. Thank you for watching.